make it so much better. The future's ours to lose. All you can dream of, don't be afraid.
Hello my friends, I have a quick and easy card to share with you today. I'm very excited to share this one with you because it was very easy, but I think it's adorable. It's a 5.5 inch square card and it simply just says thanks. Quick and easy. Let me show you how simple it is. The first thing I've done is I've taken my cardstock and I folded it in half and I've cut it so it's 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing folder and I'm going to insert my embossing folder along the card. Now, an interesting thing to note is I'm going to move it right up to the edge, but you'll notice it's a little too small, but that's okay because on my card, I'm covering the bottom half of the card or the bottom third of the card. So I don't need to worry about this, but if I wanted to emboss that, I could just run it through the machine and then run it through the machine again by moving my embossing folder. So I'm going to put it into my Big Shot. And I'm just going to simply run it through. And I love what this looks like when it's done because it just always adds so much oomph to it. There's my cute little embossing. Isn't that great? Now, a fun thing to do with it is to ink it. And I love to ink it because then it really makes that image pop. So I'm just going to kind of lightly ink it. And sometimes I like to use 2 different colors of ink because it really just makes it pop. So in the center of it, I'm going to do the dark brown. And then I'm going to move on to a lighter brown. And I'm going to do the rest. And usually I use some paper underneath me. So I'm going to grab some scratch paper because I always save all my extra scratch paper. I don't want to go anywhere else. And it's okay if I go down here because that's not going to show. And I'm just going to ink that baby up and I'm going to fold this again because I only want to do the edges. And look how that flower image really pops up after you ink it. I love that look. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to cut our strip down here to fit at the bottom. But what I like to do is ink the edges first. And I'm a big inker. I love to get inky and have fun. And when I just want a soft look, I just use a cheap makeup sponge and I just dab it into my ink and just rub it along the edges. Now this strip is a little bit longer than my card, so what I'm only going to do is ink 3 edges. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over to my card and I'm going to adhere adhesive to my card. That way I don't add extra adhesive to my strip. Get that out of the way. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to my card and I'm going to add this at the bottom just like that. And now I can just turn my card over and trim off the excess. So simple. And I got that a little bit off. Let's trim it just a little bit more. Just like that. And now I can ink that 4th edge. So now it's the perfect size. Cute. Now, one more thing I want to do is I want to add another strip of paper. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to ink the 3 edges. I am a big time. I just love the look of inked edges. It's so fun. So I'm just going to add just a little tiny bit. Less is more, or you can do more, whatever you'd like. And then I'm just going to, again, add the adhesive to my card. And then, whoops, where'd it go? Huh. Let's line that up. Add that. Oh, that's crooked. There we go. And then again, we're just going to trim the edge. Now, a fun trick, let me get that off real quick. Okay, so there's the part of our card. Now what I want to do is I want to stamp the thanks. So I'm going to find, I cut out a little piece of cardstock. Where did it go? La la la, am I missing it? Am I missing it? Oh, it fell on the floor. Isn't that funny? Hopefully he can edit that out. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to ink, and I want to use the dark brown on this one. So I'm going to grab that ink, dark brown, and we're going to simply stamp thanks. Quick and easy. Pull that off. And then we want to add like a little pop-up dot to this because we really want it to show. So we're going to add a pop-up dot, but not quite yet because we still have to do one more thing. We want to ink this, and I'm just lightly inking this one. Okay, lightly inking that one. And then I'm going to adhere the thanks to this, just in the center there. Add that. But before I add this to my card, I need some more inking on this. I see I missed a little spot. Don't want that to happen. There we go. So what I also want to do is I want to add some twine. Twine is like the new thing for embellishment. So I want to wrap it around. What I did was I wrapped it around, but it's actually, you can see, if you hit it, it's not going to move because I punched little holes. And let me show you how I did that. I just took, this is like a 1/8 hole punch. You could use any size hole punch, but I simply just, let me make sure I do this right. I simply, get it closed. I just did the front, and I just punched like half a circle right there. Then I'm going to punch half a circle right through all of those cardstock pieces. And then in the center over here, I'm just going to punch just a half circle. So that's going to give a little channel to my twine. And I notice I need a little bit more adhesive under that. I'm just going to add 3 more. Just to make sure that little baby stays right there. Oops. Stays right there. When it's embossed and inked, it's kind of hard to keep it to stay there. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our twine. And I did this in 2 different steps. So the first one, I just went like this. And I tied it. And this is where it always helps to have a second person or a third hand, because you always want somebody to hold that little knot for you, but I can kind of get it. I'm just going to use my scissors here, and then we're going to do one more. It's so fun to send homemade cards to people because they always appreciate it so much. And these scissors are my cookie scissors, so they're not cutting very good. Okay, so now we got this one here. But when I was making this card, I realized, and let me show you what it looks like before I talk about it. I realized that when I added my little thanks here, this was a little distracting. The twine was a little distracting. So I'm going to move the little extra pieces, because I like those extra little wishies here. So I'm going to move those down here. And then I did this, and I said, well, I kind of like that, but I don't like how these are kind of moved funny. So what I did was I kind of pulled these together, and then I kind of opened these up just a little bit more to make them longer, because, you know, those knots are kind of movable a little bit. Then I took my stapler. Where's my stapler? My handy dandy ugly stapler. And I just pulled these together, and I stapled them with a regular stapler. Oh, a regular stapler! Imagine that. So now when I add my pop foam dots here, I'm going to add some of those. And we'll have a supply list at the end, so you'll know exactly where everything came from, so you can find it. So now I'm going to add that right there on top, and I'm going to trim these just a little bit more because they're a little too wild for my taste, a little too long. So there you go. Now I have a quick and simple stamped and inked and embossed card with twine and a staple ready to go and write in and send in the mail. So make sure you come back soon, because I'm sure I'm going to have another exciting video for you. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.